Do you have aches and pains that seem to come out of nowhere? A chronic illness that defies treatment, or symptoms that modern medicine can't explain? Have you been to practitioner after practitioner and you're still not sure what to do? Tune in to today's episode as we discuss how our physical body reflects our unresolved emotions and traumas, also known as our shadow side in Jungian psychology. You may have heard the saying that issues live in our tissues, or maybe not, but it's true, and science backs it up. However, the yogic view of being human has always known that we have many layers being human. And being fully alive means connecting with all of these layers and ultimately finding balance in your body, mind, and heart. I look forward to sharing all of this with you, but first, I also want to share about Rooted Woman. You may have heard about this. You may have seen me talk about this on social media or on the podcast. But if you are ready to learn more about how to embrace the shadow side and find healing in your body, mind, and heart and balance the root chakra. So what does that mean? Because sometimes those phrases are a little, out there. If you're not used to yogic philosophy and that way of looking at things. So if you are ready to unlearn the patterns of perfectionism and learn how to have a loving relationship with your body, to nourish yourself, to find a way to de-stress and simplify your life, to finally balance your nervous system, uncover and release limiting beliefs, begin to heal the wounds of your inner child, and finally belong to a community of like-minded women so you don't feel like you're in this alone, I invite you to join me in Rooted Woman. This is a community, and you can join the waitlist now at alyssapfennig.com/Rooted Woman and be the first to get access when this goes live and the doors open. So this community includes lessons and practices every month to help you balance, and they're all in tune with each season. So there will also be monthly yoga and meditation classes with me that you can do at any time, shorter practices, longer practices, and there will be a library of lessons that you can go back to when it makes sense for you as well. I'll introduce something every month. And if you want to go deeper or want a more customized approach, there are limited spots available to work with me one-on-one. Doors open on January 12th, so go to alyssapfennig.com/Rooted Woman now to join. Welcome to the Wild Wisdom Podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa Pfennig, and this is your space to learn more about the importance of slowing down, taking care of yourself, and the mind-body connection. And most importantly, how to reclaim your health by listening to your body's innate wisdom and reconnecting with the earth. Hi everybody, it's Alyssa. I'm a certified yoga therapist, but if you're in my group, of course you know me. And I wanted to talk about the issues that live in our tissues. So think about this for a moment. Do you have aches and pains that seem to come out of nowhere? Maybe you have a chronic illness that defies treatment. You've had test after test and symptoms modern medicine can't explain. You go to doctor, you're trying to figure it out, and you're just frustrated because maybe there's no diagnosis, or maybe you have multiple diagnoses, and you're wondering, what is going on? Why is this is not the life I want? Why is my body betraying me? Thinking all these thoughts. So today we're going to talk about how our physical body reflects our unresolved emotions and even unresolved traumas. So this is called our shadow side in Jungian philosophy or psychology. You may have heard the saying that issues live in our tissues. Maybe not, but it's true. The issues that we have unresolved and unprocessed do show up in the physical body, and science even backs this up. But I'm a yoga therapist, so the yogic view of being human has always known that we have many layers to the human body. And this is called, in the yogic world, the Panchamaya kosha, or the Panchamaya model, also known as the koshas. So this is you can call it the dimensions of being human. So we have the physical body, which many of us are used to. You can see the physical body. We have the energetic body. So this is our breath, but ultimately our life force that runs through us and why we're alive. And also the vital organs. And then our mental, emotional body, intellectual and spiritual body. So we have all of this. And so looking at the whole person with all of these different layers, and if something is out of balance, so unprocessed emotions, then the physical body may be out of balance too. Sometimes it takes years of that unprocessed emotion for that to show up in the physical body. We'll get into that more because I'm going to share 3 ways that you can start connecting with your body, mind, and heart. Because when you connect with your body, mind, and your heart, that's when you can feel fully alive. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is getting out of your head. So if you're like most people, you spend most of your time in your head. Even if you're not completely aware that you do. You're cut off from your breath, your feelings, and ultimately dissociated from your body. And the body may feel like a scary place for you if you've stuffed down things that happened to you in childhood, big traumas, lots of little traumas that kind of added up over time. By the time you become an adult, you've become an expert at continuing to stuff these down, distracting yourself. We're really good at that, right? And repressing your feelings that you barely know you're doing it anymore. It's just become who you are. So the emotional energy that you stuffed down just compounds over time, and then your body develops physical symptoms. It can be the results of stress or just stress on your body, and that you feel constantly in a state of stress. This can also be a fight or flight feeling or freeze. Skin eruptions, ultimately anxiety, depression, can lead over time, compound and lead to heart palpitations. It can lead to heaviness in the legs, all kinds of things. It can ultimately lead into a heart attack or stroke. The list goes on and on of what's going on, unprocessed emotions, what we're not dealing with, sometimes because we don't know how to deal with them, or we repress them because we don't want to deal with them. It's too scary to feel, okay? But actually, it's not good for you and your life to not feel these. And once you start to feel these emotions and process them, you actually start to feel lighter, and it doesn't become as scary over time. So getting out of your head, and I'll talk about how you can get out of your head and connect to your body. So your body has this language. It's pain, and it speaks to you. And so it's often that something we ignore. It whispers at first. Maybe it's this nagging thing in our hip. Maybe it's an ache in our shoulder. It can be anything. And then, or even that anxious feeling in your body. Because that anxiety is not just up here. We start to feel it in our body. Then we ignore it for many reasons that I kind of just said. But it starts screaming at us. And so that's when we need to connect back to our body and listen. And as everyone knows, yoga is my #1 way to connect to your body and get out of your head. It's a misnomer that yoga and meditation are separate, because I would say, yoga and meditation, but I always like to clarify this. Meditation is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. So yoga consists of not only the movement practice, which is all over the media, and so most people kind of have this notion of what yoga may look like. Yoga is so much more than what's displayed in the visual on media. So there's the movement practice, and there is the breathing practices and coming back into our body, and there is also the meditation practices, and then more philosophy and lifestyle medicine sort of stuff as well. But coming back into our body and even just moving can at least make you aware of your body and more in tune with what's going on, what is it saying to you, what's out of balance, what do you need. Just even the movements alone, even if it's gentle and simple, even if it's just being quiet in a restorative yoga pose, for example, for 5 minutes. Some of you may feel like 5 minutes of being quiet, being still and not doing anything is a lot for you. And that is that distraction. So coming back into the body somehow, being still somehow, and starting the ultimate, what we're going to do is connect to just being and stop doing, and ultimately connect to the heart. But we have to start somewhere. So movement, breath, meditation, those are key ways you can start. And there are all other ways besides yoga. You can be in nature. That's a nice stillness as well. You can get a massage to come back into the body, to kind of feel your body. It's with grounding. And there's other modalities of body work. So body work is really helpful if you need assistance. But you can certainly do it at home too with yoga. And you can check out a link below. You can check out my YouTube channel for some simple poses you can try out. I'm always adding more content there. But let's do a little simple practice if you're ready, of course, if you're not watching this on the go. But right now, you can close your eyes or leave them softly open and just feel into your shoulders. Just notice. You can put your hands there if that helps more tangibly. Notice if they're tight. Are they kind of up by your ears? Can you relax them at all? What about your hips? Do your hips want to move? I know I listen to that part a lot, and one of the reasons why I also like to do dancing in different types, because my body wants to move. What else is your body trying to tell you right now? Do you need a drink of water? Are you thirsty? Do you feel hungry? And maybe it's not really because you're hungry that you're actually craving something else, or you just need some more water. The biggest thing is to start listening to your body so that you're not just reacting and waiting until your body like screams at you and you end up in the hospital or that sort of stuff. You want to start paying attention before you're forced to by a serious breakdown. Okay? So yoga, there are so many different types of yoga out there, not just what's displayed in the media, on TV, on the cover of magazines. It doesn't matter who you are, you can do yoga. I have taught, one of my most favorite things was teaching veterans. And it was part of a research study on chronic pain between the VA hospital and the university. And I loved it. For one, veterans are the most amazing, resilient people out there. But we did the most simple things. And we included a little bit of breathing, and of course attention to the breath, but the most simple movements, seated, standing, and lying down, and made adjustments for everyone if needed, because when you have shrapnel in your neck or in your back, or there's something else going on with your neck and you've got metal, you can't do certain things certain ways. So there's ways to adapt. But the most simple things of tuning into the body produce such profound results. And it wasn't necessarily, I want to do a headstand. You can certainly do that if you want, if that's a goal. But it was, I want to walk up the stairs 1 foot at a time instead of shuffling. I want to go out to eat with my loved one without having anxiety of so many people around. Those sort of things, those are the purpose of why we practice yoga. Sure, to get stronger in our body, that's important, because especially to connect to your body, also getting stronger, staying healthy that way. But just know that just the practice connects you back to your body, and it can be very simple and have very profound results. The third way to connect to all of this is through energy medicine. And I'll tell you, energy medicine changed my life. And I'm thankful for everyone who has introduced me to this. And while yoga is a movement practice that moves energy, because of course it affects the energetic body, it is not the same of energy medicine in the sense of shamanic practices or dealing with the energetic realm. So, or really focusing straight on the energetic body. And this is something when, for example, when I had restless legs when I was pregnant, it was energy therapy that cut through them, and I wouldn't have restless legs for a few days. And I tried other practices as well, but that was really what really shifted. And so that told me this is an emotional issue. Sure, there's make sure you're increasing your iron and your magnesium. So you're addressing that kind of physiological issue. But energy medicine cuts through. I've gotten even my father to do energy therapy, and the neuropathy in his feet actually almost disappeared for a few days after. But because it is tied, and I'd like him to really understand this, but that's the whole thing, it's tied to unresolved emotions. Of course it comes back. It's not just something that's some voodoo that slowly goes away. You have to deal with the core issue. And one of my guests on the Wild Wisdom podcast, and I'll link to that episode as well, she had mentioned how shamanic practicing energy healing, I guess, is like taking a snowblower compared to Reiki, which is another form of energy healing. It's more like a blow dryer. But so I would always, if you want to start doing this, seek out an energy medicine practitioner. They're trained in a variety of ways, and there are some beautiful ones in my city that I've worked with and have opened my world up. And some of them incorporate different levels of Reiki, which is amazing. And I would suggest kind of starting with some Reiki healing touch. Then you could go into, when you're ready, more that shamanic practice and get that snowblower kind of like really wide opening. But if you're new, you can start with something just to start to connect, just to realize, now wait a minute, I felt so much better in my body, and that person didn't even lay hands on me. So that's the energetic layer. This is energy medicine. And we are energetic beings. And there is a connection. You can feel it just as an example. Because energy is like, oh, what's this? It's this esoteric, like intangible thing. But if you've ever walked into a place and you're like, oh, I don't want to be here, this feels wrong, that's an energetic feeling. So that's just an example of this energy medicine. And I think it is definitely something that can help you cut through to the core of the issues. It also brings things to the surface to release, but that some things have to actually come to the surface to be released. So it's not like these things are kind of miracle things. It's a process. It takes years sometimes to resolve this, but when you start connecting, then once you start to process and connect and release, whether it's through energy therapy, it's through yoga, it's through, being in nature, it's through all kinds of stuff. There's lots of different modalities and beautifully trained practitioners. But things, you're moving, and it's like layers of an onion, peeling back the layers. And then you start to raise your vibration. Things start to shift, and you start to feel better, and you start to feel connected to your heart, connected to your body. You start to feel more alive. And so if you've started down this journey, Hopefully you've received some information that can further help you, or maybe you're just starting and maybe you just start to get out of your head and into your body. So when medication, surgery, and even chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage, which are all things that I recommend and do myself, when they have not helped resolve a physical problem and you've been trying it over and over, it's time to look in the emotional realm for what might be stuck there. But know this, there's hope. So even if you've been suffering from physical symptoms for a long time, you still have everything within you to become fully aligned, vibrant, and balanced. You just have to come back to your body and your heart. If you want to learn more about coming back to your body, mind, and heart, I have a new ebook that's 5 ways to balance your body, mind, and heart. And it's now available for $7. It is my Rooted Woman Starter Kit. A Rooted Woman is coming in January, and it's going to be a community where you'll get practices every month, including live yoga practices recorded yoga practices with me, and then Facebook Lives that we can interact. But this Rooted Woman Starter Kit has worksheets, journal questions, links to helpful resources, guided meditations, and more to help you begin to connect with your body and ultimately the wisdom, the root wisdom that resides in the pelvic bowl, the energetic, the physical, and everything. So you can go to alyssapfennig.com/Rooted Woman Starter Kit, or click on the link below to get access. That's alyssapfennig.com/Rooted Woman Starter Kit. Like I said, or you can click on the link below. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please comment below and I'm happy to answer them, or feel free to direct message me and I will answer as well. Enjoy and tune in every Wednesday at noon Eastern Time as we discuss one more thing related to helping you balance your body, mind, and heart and connect to your body. So, I want to hear from you. What did you think of today's topic? Direct message me on Instagram or Facebook, or better yet, join the Wild Wisdom Collective, my free Facebook group, and chime in on the discussion. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and insight. And if you love what you're hearing, please take a moment to click the button on your smartphone to subscribe. Or, better yet, write a review and tell me why you love tuning in. And maybe you'll be featured in our listener spotlight on a future episode. I cannot wait to see you again, same time, same place next week. Wild blessings.